So the defense market has been really volatile lately, especially with the government shutdown. But BigBear.AI has seen some new contracts or some new earnings come out that have been pretty promising. But you still only have, this so much momentum you can see in the AI market. Growth on BigBear.AI, they started to recover, continue their overall trend. They were trending upwards. You can kind of take a step back here, and it was looking like they were really continuing up into this $10 range once again, continuing finding higher lows. You can see this is just since November last year when they were around $1 a share. They've made runs up to $9 or $10 a share, continuing up. And then just recently, when they were bouncing and looking to continue up, we saw them start to uptrend here. And then this is when that market sell off hit last week, and they went from this slight uptrend to correcting down. And we were anticipating they were going to make it up to $7.50 or more, and they stopped at 7.40, sold down, couldn't find support, pulled down further, and then got rejected by that previous rising support level. And now we see them sell down, oh man, about 13%. We were pointing out this potential sell-off yesterday, that they could continue up, but that they had just sold off and got rejected here. And so another sell-off today. You see them sell back down. They recovered a little bit after hours, but for the most part, since market open, they sold off just about 8 to 9%. Now, very key level of support around $5 a share. That $5.50 range is not anything we haven't seen before. This $5.50 range is very prominent in the stock, because when we saw this company sell down after earnings last time, they recovered and they were holding that 550 range. They couldn't hold it. Then it was a big breakout moment when they were able to get above that $5.50 range. They got rejected a few times, finally really rocketed up from that 550. And it's also been a support level here throughout November. So as they're down here, you're looking and you're saying, wow, can we see this recovery, something like this? See this bounce and find that 550 support and kind of continue their trend that they have going here. It's quite possible, but this is what it looks like right now. Downward pressure, while the RSI and MACD indicate a buy, it's still seeing red candlesticks. And so what do they have working for them? There is some new contracts this year that they were able to secure. Primarily, they were infrastructure plays. So they were working in the Panama Canal, and the computer vision that they have deployed is pretty advanced. And so since they have this thing, it's called Arcus, they're partnered with Palantir. They're also partnered with Redwire for satellite imagery. But as you can see here, they actually have had this deploy at the Panama Canal for tracking ships and seeing them come in and out, and artificial intelligence and machine learning with millions of data points to enhance the situational awareness and predictive forecasts. I think anything predictive related to AI is massive. That's why we have a company here, which I could actually search up, BigBear.AI. Let's get some analysis going right now on BigBear, and let's see what it looks like. You got, while we're here, check out the top transactors for BigBear. You see that according to Claude AI, here in our analysis for the model we have selected, Claude is thoughtful and has nuanced financial insights. Most people that use Claude in general have a higher net worth, whereas Grok might be good for the short-term trading or conversation over on X. And we got Claude selected here. Vanguard has been buying, BlackRock has been buying. When you're looking at the analysis of the institutions, you got 261 buys versus 131 sells. So more buys from institutions. Insiders, what does it look like? Let's see, you got the CEO had sold some back in September. But overall, it looks like more sells, just 11 sells compared to 9 buys as of recently. But relatively small sells, not any huge sells. Pretty small, yeah, pretty small sells. Actually, the buys are bigger. So that's something to consider. Over the next year, it's projected to get back up in that $7 range. It's fairly bullish, but in the next month, it looks bearish according to Claude. What's driving that bearishness? Let's see what that is. Let's see. Okay, downside target right now is a firm resistance around $6.25 with that $5 support potentially next around 5.25 it says. And that's what we see right now. You know, there's a hard resistance about around that $6.40 range, and that's what we were looking at here. You can kind of see if I can yeah, kind of draw. I mean, this isn't the prettiest, but see the support level, kind of a resistance level as well right here, resistance. You know, this is actually going to be that level that Claude's considering is a resistance that it's pulled below, and now that's below the moving averages, that it's going to have trouble breaking above this $6.50 range. Now, this stock moves very fast. We've seen in a matter of days it go up 40% and back down 40% in a matter of 2 or 3 days. So again, anything could happen. But when you're looking at the projections there from Claude, let's see, it's 20-day. Oh, and also if you want to grab this this AI analysis, you want to unlock this or have the opportunity to potentially unlock this, we have a first access list. Now it's free to get on the list. All you have to do is click the first link below. So when this drops for you, you're able to see what it's all about. So again, it's the first link below. Get on that first access list so you can start integrating AI. Now, the other thing, you know, when we're looking at that, those levels, they're key levels, and there's a few catalysts that could work them out of that range. One of the things to note, they are partnered over here with Palantir. Okay, so they got a partnership going with Palantir. You can see that connection here in the defense market. They're partnered with Redwire as well. And so if they are going to break out, you know, there's a few things that could potentially work for them to get back above that $6.50 range here, that 17% gain, and continue this overall uptrend back into those $8 or $9 ranges, because that's what investors want. See that 50% to 80% level. The difference this time when looking at Big Bear is that we've seen volatility. There's been a lot of people that have been shooken out of Big Bear, but during that time in the volatility, they've deployed more on their Variscan. They went into Chicago Airport, JFK, LAX. They went to was it Atlanta or Heathrow Airport, Montreal Airport, with their Variscan technology that is deployed ahead of the World Cup, along with the Olympics coming to the US. They're also partnering specifically with Delta. The Department of Defense wants this data, and that's a good thing for them. But what they've struggled with is seeing, you know, big revenues as a result. Yes, they had beat their earnings when they just came out with earnings recently with revenue of about 33 million to expected. It's still flat. Revenue's still flat. So they didn't see that infrastructure of this Variscan technology into all of the US airports and other airports really see any big revenue spikes. But when you look at the CEO, previously the acting secretary of U.S. Department of Homeland Security, along with the commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, who is now the CEO of Big Bear, it would make sense that this is an infrastructure play to then tie in bigger contracts later that they can secure that will be higher value. And I think that's kind of the play here. But back into the financials. The revenue's 33 million, net income is 2 million. First time we've seen them come in with a positive net income. That's very good. Balance sheet, they jumped from $1 billion or 600 million in assets. They decreased their liabilities and jumped in assets to nearly $1 billion in cash. So this company has an 800% increase in cash, and they're ramping up for scale, basically. Total liabilities down over this last quarter by 20 million, and total assets jumping about $400 million. So very, very good on the balance sheet compared to where their market cap is. It looks great. Just got to see that revenue increase, because one thing they did that's an effort of increasing that revenue is they just acquired the Ask Sage AI company. Now, Ask Sage was just acquired this past week, and the reason it's a big deal is because Ask Sage already has revenues from US government in AI LLM. So if you look at Ask Sage, let's take a look here. Ask Sage is right here. You can see they allow you to use top AI LLMs, and they're partnered with the Department of Justice, Human Services in the USA, NASA. They're partnered with the Defense Health Agency and some others in the US government. And so basically, Big Bear said, okay, we could try and establish those partnerships, or let's just acquire this company. And yeah, you can see they put in all the data, and then they're able to run different AIs through it, and also code and work into different companies with the AIs. So a very interesting company, as they acquired them for 250 million, and they were partnered with the Department of Defense already, which is something that potentially they just, rather than acquiring the contracts, just said, let's just acquire the company. Use cases here, pricing, all that good stuff, seems to indicate that they are making good revenues. They're anticipating to make $25 million this year in annual revenue. So right now, again, watch really closely to see the support level around 550 if it can hold. Looking for that bullish target near term up to $6 to 850, but $6 is the nearest resistance, and then support level is at 550. Let's see if it holds here into tomorrow. See if any opportunities present themselves. We actually just had our stops get hit today, so not ideal, but perfectly to plan as we're managing risk, which is important during this time. But we do trade every single morning. You know, we've had some really good trades on Big Bear. In fact, some of our best trades have been when we've seen these opportunities present themselves. If you ever want to tune on into the daily live trading sessions, it's going to be the second link down below for StockMate. You can find it here. This is where we have targets, and you get our daily live sessions Monday through Friday. You get a link in your email sent over to you to join on in. Now, on top of that, if you haven't gotten your free t-shirt from StockMate, you get that as well, along with some books, some learning materials to learn how to invest in quantum, AI, data centers, space tech, all that good stuff in StockMate. So again, it's the second link below. Love to see you there. Tuned in tomorrow morning. So if I earned your thumbs up, hit the like button. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.